What up, B Squad? It is me, JB, and I am here today, you guys, with a brand new review for Baddies USA Season 8. This is episode number 13, and this episode was titled Cabinet Meeting. So, before I go ahead and get into it, if you're watching this video or any other video on the channel and you're not subscribed yet, you guys will do me a solid favor and stop taking out this date and having me pay for it at the end of it. You guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and also by turning on your post notifications. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's discuss Baddies USA, shall we? All right, so this episode right here, this was an interesting episode. It literally picks up where we ended the last one. That was with Summer and Lex having a fight, and Lex charging at Summer one more time, just to round it off. Now, Lex, what I'm gonna say is this last round with Summer, did you really have to continue to fight that girl? Because I mean, you had already commenced to whooping her ass multiple times. So I'm just confused why you continue to do it. You proved your point. You beat her up, and Summer proved that she's nothing but a delusional person, right? Because she's talking about how she's still pretty. I was like, girl, look at your face and look at how your face is tore up. Um, I don't know if you still look pretty. Well, I ain't never. Here's the thing. I don't think Summer's a pretty girl. I don't think she's ugly, but I don't think she's pretty. What I think is ugly about Summer is her attitude and her personality, and it kind of, I would say, it radiates from the, it radiates. But you ain't pretty in this moment. Even Roller had to say, "Girl, you are not still pretty." And I was with Roller. I was actually laughing. I was really laughing with Roly. And they finally were able to, break up the fight, right? Now, what I was so confused about is so Summer's still talking shit, right? And Summer is saying, "Yeah, she still ain't she still ain't my pussy and all that kind of stuff." I'm like, Summer, please stop saying that. But Lex says that's not the reason that I fought you. Lex is saying the reason that I'm fighting you, I fought you, is because of what happened in Detroit when Summer's sister and niece tried to attack Lex. And I don't give Lex that. Like, I would be pissed about that too. If your family members come and try to jump me and fight me, then yeah, me and you gonna have a problem. So I get where Lex is coming from. I get where Lex is coming from. So like, I really do get it. And so then Biggie is talking to Lex and asking Lex, like, well, did you really fight her because of that, or did you fight her because of the whole pussy time? I'm like, Biggie, what they got to do with you, and why are you minding somebody else's business? Like, in this episode, Biggie was getting on my nerves. I will be honest about that. Biggie got on my entire nerves in this episode. So then, when that happened, so Lex was like, "No, that's not what it was, Biggie." So like, "Can you ask that bitch what happened?" And so Lex, and so Biggie asked her, "Well, did essentially it came up? Did she actually do it?" Right? Lex says, "I didn't eat Summer, but Summer did eat me." And I'm like, I would never admit to that. I honestly would never admit to letting Summer put her crusty looking lips on me. I really wouldn't. But we move on from that. So we get into the house for the house meeting, right? And Rolly was having a conversation with the girls about the stuff that happened with Tommy, bringing the people to the house and how that's the same. And I would agree that that's a safety issue. And so I get that, but that's something that Zeus needs to look into. And why do they allow that? Like, I don't get that. So then she also talked about the stuff that, with Summer, how also bringing people to our events and stuff to have them fight people. I get that as well. But again, this is not so, I mean, You can have these conversations with the girls, but you should also have the conversation that also should be a conversation that Zeus is having with the Lemmy, everybody else. And so then they talked about Natalie and this whole Natalie and Scotty thing, right? And with the whole Natalie and Scotty thing, it was so interesting because you look at Janelle and I'm gonna get into Janelle in a minute, right? So they talk about what happened with Natalie when she went when Scotty, Jayla, they met up with Natalie and Janelle, right? And so she's telling the situation that she's telling the situation that what happened at dinner, right? And what happened at dinner. Remember when remember at dinner, Scotty asked Natalie why was she mentioning her and her dog, and you remember Natalie was saying it's true, it's true, and then she inserted Mariah Lynn's name into it, right? And so when she inserted so when Scotty said Mariah Lynn's name, Mariah Lynn was like, well, that's not what Natalie told her, because she said she had a conversation with Natalie and let Mariah Lynn tell it. Natalie is saying that Scotty mentioned her name at the dinner, which is completely not true. And Scotty was like, but both Jayla and Janelle were there and heard it. And so she's like, Jayla, what happened? So Jayla told exactly what happened in that dinner. And so they were like, okay, well, Janelle, tell us what happened. Now, Janelle, on the other hand, Janelle decides to start saying, well, Scotty did mention the post, and I was like, but that's not what happened. Like Scotty literally told you what was said, and it's just not the math ain't mathing. The math wasn't mathing with what Janelle was saying, because literally Scotty did ask her like, "Girl, why did you mention my dog and me?" And she's like, "Well, that's," and then she was talking about Lemmy and stuff and Mariah Lynn, and Scotty was like, "That ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, leave me out of that's between them. Don't involve me in it." But I was just and somebody asked the question like, "Are you to Janelle basically like, are you just being Natalie's mouthpiece?" And she didn't. She said no, but I'm like, actually, you are, because Janelle, you were there, and you talking about from your recollection. No, you doing this to stay in the good graces of Natalie, and that was what was getting on my nerves. And they kept going back and forth about that. And Scotty, and if you notice, Scotty never changed what she said, but Janelle did kind of change what she said. And I was like, and I think Rolly clocked, a lot of the girls clocked that. Wait a minute, you changed up what you said. Once again, Biggie is doing the most. I was like, Biggie, if you don't sit your ass down, well, she's sitting down, but if you don't calm the hell down, and she was just getting on my nerve. And so then Mariah Lynn gets up and she's bigging back. I'm like, Mariah, what are you gonna do? Scotty is pregnant, so it ain't nothing you can do to her. And it was just getting on my nerves. So so that's what was going on. Mariah Lynn was just talking, and she's still telling to people what Natalie told her. And it's like what Natalie told you is a damn lie. So I don't understand why you're listening to what Natalie is saying when Scotty is telling you something. Jayla is telling you the same thing that Scotty is saying. Janelle over here is telling you something different, completely different. So I was just confused by Mariah Lynn getting all buck and stuff. So that's just weird to me. Like that was just so weird to me. And so then we talked about so now we get into the whole situation of the set, right? Rolly is telling the girls how they did good when they were in the last city, which was Chicago, right? And once again, Mariah Lynn got to bring up DJ Fuck Up, as she calls her, right? And I was like, oh God, when are we gonna be done with this whole stuff with Mariah Lynn and DJ Scott? And he's so what happened? So after that, they talked about the set, and I'm here's the thing. I get where everybody's coming from. If she if she, with her messing up the sets, I get that, right? It's something that you take seriously, and it should be professional, right? I get that. So Rolly let the girls know that they are going to bring in a new DJ, right? And so they brought in a DJ from Texas. She says she's from Dallas, but she lives in Houston. So shout out to her. Now, she said her name is DJ Ari. I believe that's her name, DJ Ari. Um, she's cool. She came in, she gave Sky a hug. Then here we go once again with Biggie. And Biggie is doing the most once again. Biggie is feeling away. I'm like, girl, if you don't sit your ass down and shut the fuck up. Like when I tell you Biggie was getting on my nerves, because Biggie was just doing a whole lot. Um, like Biggie was just doing too much. And I'm like, Biggie, first of all, what they gotta do with you if you feel some way about this girl, then you coming at her sideways. Now, if the girl had a hauled off and smacked your ass, you would have been sitting there looking stupid had she smacked you, which I kind of wanted her to smack Biggie because Biggie was getting on my nerves, right? And it feels like some of them wanted DJ Sky to be super duper upset about them bringing in DJ Ari. And I was like, if she ain't got no problem with it, then what y'all got a problem with it for? Like, it just, to me, it just didn't make any sense. And like I said, more specifically, Biggie made no sense to me. And they went on for that for quite a few minutes. I'm like, what are y'all arguing about? Like, this shit ain't making no sense. So after they got that situated, K Rican comes. Now y'all know I do like K Rican. So K Rican came in. Now I didn't know she had an issue with Tinka, and we'll talk about her issue with Tinka, right? So she came in. Now I knew she had an issue with Nunu because they've talked about the issue with Nunu. But Tinka was out the blue for me, right? And if somebody knows what the beef is with Nunu and Tinka, not Nunu and Tinka, K Rican and Tinka, please let me know how it started. Because Tinka addressed it. So it seems like they got into it with each other, and K Rican was basically saying, girl, you just had a baby. You need to be at home with your child. And so Tinka, with her badass skin, took that as she's talking about her child. No, ma'am, she was not talking about your child. She was, in fact, talking about you. She was telling you that, hey, bitch, you just had a baby. Keep your ass at home and heal instead of worrying about me. Like, you got more important things to worry about than me. So she didn't speak on your child. But okay. So they get the fighting, right? They went 3 rounds. I'm gonna be honest. Even though I like K Rican, and I've said it last season, K Rican can't fight. But Tinka gave it to K Rican. Because they kept having to tell her, keep your head up. Because she fought with her head down. And I was like, ooh, girl, if you don't lift your head, if you don't lift your head up. And then after she fought 3 rounds with K Rican, she after she fought the 3 rounds with K Rican, after three rounds with K Rican and Tinka, then she fought Nunu. Now, what I will say about Nunu, whoever does Nunu's wigs, like whoever does her wigs, do a damn good job, because her wigs never, the fight that she had with Fauna, her wig didn't come off. Like any fight that she's had this season, that wig stays firmly planted on her head. And I'm like, girl, I can't even be mad at it. I cannot be mad at it. So then she went back and had another, like, it was, they were throwing water at each other and all this kind of stuff. It was like a lot of stuff going on. Now, they broke up the fight right at one point, and once again, here come Biggie doing the most. Biggie is screaming at the top of her lungs about K Rican and what's her name? K Rican and Nunu, and I was like, Biggie, mind your business. Mind your business. Because she was getting on my nerves. Then she started screaming about Scotty. Scotty's pregnant. Scotty's pregnant. Did they tell you Scotty's pregnant? Scotty's pregnant. Scotty's. I'm like, Biggie, shut up. Like when I tell you Biggie was getting on my damn nerves. So they eventually broke that fight up and they took everybody outside, right? Outside, we're talking once again, K Rican and Nunu, they squaring up with each other, right? It was so funny to me because Nunu talking about run up ho, run up ho, run up ho, but she's steady backing up. I was like, Nunu, if you wanted her to run up, you could also run up and punch her. So they did get to fighting. Now, what I will say when it comes to the Nunu and K Rican fight, once again, like I said about Tinka, I got to give it to Nunu. I have to give it to Nunu. Nunu was giving it to K Rican. Like Nunu, it was given to her. And so that was that. Now we still, once again, it was, I think it was Janelle, Scotty, and Jayla once again having a conversation about this whole Natalie thing. And I was like, why are we still discussing Natalie? And I thought y'all got to the bottom of what was said and what wasn't said. Why are we still talking about it? Like, it was so confusing to me. And then on the bus, because they're getting ready to go out, I think. And so Nunu was talking to, it was Nunu, it was Gretchen, it was Fauna, and it was Tavy, right? And Nunu explained the whole situation with she and K Rican and why they have a beef with each other. And it's a dumbass reason why they have a beef with each other. Because somebody online compared the two women to each other. And I'm like, that's not something to be mad about. Unless you think the other one is ugly. And K Rican's not an ugly girl, and neither is Nunu. The only problem that K Rican got is that it's her teeth. And you can get your teeth fixed. So I'm just I'm confused. But hey, it is what it is. So then we start having a conversation about DJ Sky, her being replaced, and her, if you want to be a baddies, if you want to be a baddie, then you should have been cast to be a baddie, but you weren't cast to be a baddie. You were cast to be the baddies DJ. And this is coming from Tavy. I'm like, girl, shut up. They talked about her getting the baddies chain and all this kind of stuff. And it was just a bunch of dumb shit that I was listening to. I was like, this is so ridiculously stupid. And I can see why. You can look at Fauna and you can clearly tell that Fauna is getting annoyed with Tavy. And I'm honestly getting annoyed with Tavy as well. But that was the episode. I mean, it was a good episode because it was a lot going on, a lot of fights that happened. But I want you guys to tell me what you guys thought about the episode in the comment section below. Please subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, and also share the video, you guys. And until the next time, do me a solid favor. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video, which will be Real Housewives of Potomac, part 2 of the reunion. And again, if you guys are not yet subscribed to the channel, do me that solid favor. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it wherever you guys share your videos. I'm gonna hop off of here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, bye.